Welcome into another edition of the James Boyd Podcast. I am James Boyd, now rejoined by Jim Aiello. Jim had some time off. I'm glad that you're back. I told you never to leave me again like that in your life. How are you doing?
You made me feel bad when I got that.
No, I
I
was
got
just
that
joking.
message from you. I was like, I shouldn't have gone. I wasn't far. We were moving. We were moving. So I said
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. I'm in the new digs right now. It's been interesting. I'm learning some new stuff. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been keeping up with you, obviously, everything you've written, which is mostly not even Colts right now. It's
Yeah,
a ton
yeah.
of Pacers and
We'll,
Kalen Clark, and
we'll get into some of that as
you're all
well.
over the place right now,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I was gonna say. So yeah, I mean, I'll tease it now. We're gonna talk Colts to start, but I'm not gonna let you leave without letting me ask you a few Pacers questions. So
I do
yeah.
appreciate that. Big one tonight, obviously, in game 4 here in Indianapolis. But again, before we get into the hoop side of things, we have football to talk about, Jim. So we wrapped up veteran minicamp yesterday. And I think the biggest takeaway we have to start with, obviously, is the fact that Anthony Richardson did not participate in any of this veteran OTAs. Your thoughts when I had to one, I think you were actually off when the shoulder injury came up, and then kind of getting back in the mix and kind of hearing more about his shoulder. I've shared my thoughts. I will share more of them, but just your bird's eye view, because I think I appreciate your perspective sometimes, because I'm like, man, you've kind of seen things from afar. You're editing other teams and stories sometimes. Yeah. But when you hear that come across the docket, what's your reaction as someone who kind of has that bird's eye view?
You know that like that gif from the Fresh Prince with Will Smith walks in and there's no one around. It's kind of how I feel about being on the Anthony Richardson hill, like the hill. Like I was talking to one of our fellow writers, Austin Mock, the other day, and he was like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to die on this hill like with Anthony Richardson, but like it might just be me up here at this point. Like I might be the last guy here. Like, and I'm saying like I'm not getting off." But I'm looking at the slopes, going maybe I can make it down still. Like it's tough, man. Like I've kept the faith in terms of, again, like what I think he can be as a quarterback, the growth I think he can make as a person if he puts it into it. Actually, to quote, I think Carly Ursay Gordon, right, saying he can be great if he wants it. Like I thought that was a really great quote on her part. We can actually we could talk a little bit about that because I know you get to cover that. But yeah. So on Richardson though. It's getting hard, and it's getting hard for reasons that the reason I didn't hope, like it's the one reason that you're like, come on, this one, like, can we just see him play a season where he gets to learn and grow like a regular quarterback? And if it fails, it fails. It's fine. Like again, for me as a person watching or all the Colts fans, like we have to accept it. It didn't work out. But for injuries, like constantly, so it's inhibiting his growth, and you never actually get to see what he can be in the Shane Steichen offense. Like, man, is it frustrating? But again, I'm not going to panic as a person who is like a Anthony Richardson supporter in terms of somebody who believes in what he can do. Yeah. But because the Colts aren't yet, it doesn't seem like. I mean, given your conversations with Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard and some of those guys that, just trying to gather what's going on around there, doesn't sound like anybody's panicking yet, but it's hard not to look at what's going on and think, man, the end might be nearer than we even thought. Because like, I think you and I have been talking about this, like it's like a make or break season. Man, it might not even make it to the season. It might be Daniel Jones starting week 1,
Absolutely. And to back up a little bit, yes, we had a chance to talk to Carly Ursay Gordon, Casey Foyt, and also Kaylin Jackson, the 3 daughters who are now officially the owners of the teams. Their new leadership roles are announced. The principal owner will be Carly Ursay Gordon, the one who was on the sideline with the headphones and nice outfits, as I like to point out as well. She definitely has a fashion sense. Yep. But one of the things that she was asked, Carly Ursay Gordon, was about AR. Hey, is this a make it or break it season for him? And she said it's too early to tell. But I think part of that was, one, you don't want to just say yes, definitively. You never want to put yourself in a box that early. But she also ended it by saying, hey, we still believe in him. He has all this potential. It's up to him to kind of, put it together. If he wants to, he can be great. Right. And part of me, knowing that she said this days after he had kind of been shut down, I was thinking he may want to, seriously, even if he's a better leader and he's working on his footwork, trying to become more accurate, will his body allow him to do it? And that is the question that Carly Ursay Gordon could not answer. Jim Irsay, rest in peace, he could not answer. Chris Ballard, I remember pressing him on this at, I believe, the combine, and this wasn't when AR got drafted. This was this past year's combine. Like, hey, how do you judge when a guy is injury prone or unlucky? And then part of me is like, or is it just the same thing? Like, does it matter? Is it just semantics at that point? Are we just trying to be too nice? Like, whether we call him injury prone or unlucky, he's not there. And this latest injury, Jim, it is concerning to me because the previous 4 or 5 injuries that Anthony's had, I believe, if I count them off, he had the concussion his rookie year, the obviously severe AC joint sprain that caused him to go get surgery in October of 2023 on the AC joint, and then he had the oblique injury last year and the back spasms this past year. But I mean, a lot of these injuries outside of the back spasms, I believe, have been contact injuries. And to have a non-contact throwing injury where you're in practice and you're throwing and you have to report pain in your shoulder and everyone shuts you down, you fly out to LA to meet with Dr. Neil Elatrach, who I believe is one of the most renowned
Yeah,
sports surgeons in the world. Like he is the
Yeah.
guy you go to. He's the shoulder guy. He's the joint guy, and you have to go get your shoulder rechecked. And right now, and the phrase that Shane Steichen put out there, Jim, was he doesn't need a procedure quote right now, and they're waiting to see. But it's a lot of smoke there. I don't want to like overdo it and say like, oh, he's done, but it's hard for me to like not think this is significant because I'm like, man, and mainly because you're not, an Aaron Rodgers, a Peyton Manning, a Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady. Like you've been in one franchise for forever, and it's like, if this guy, like if they told me Patrick Mahomes was not doing every rep in veteran minicamp or something, I'm like, yeah, he's Patrick Mahomes. But we've stressed you've needed, reps so much, and perhaps this season more than any other because not only are you trying to prove yourself, you're up against another guy who is competing for the starting job. So how do you think this will affect things for Daniel Jones, Jim? And dare I say, is there a strong possibility that Daniel Jones is the week 1 starter?
Oh, I think he's the favorite now. I think if he's like the betting favorite. Frankly, like I said, if you listen to the way I think you were kind of crediting me, and I appreciate it with like kind of giving that bird's eye view and being a little bit distant from it. I think sometimes that can be true, but I also like listening to other podcasts from around and listening reading other people from around the NFL, and there are a lot of people talking about it as though it's Daniel Jones' job now. Yeah. Like essentially, like you can't count on Richardson. It's going to be Daniel Jones. We'll see what kind of quarterback he can be for the Colts and how he can help the other playmakers. And it's. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would absolutely classify Daniel Jones as the odds-on favorite right now because he is getting the reps, he is learning the offense. You wrote about it in your story that I published this morning.
Yeah,
he's a smart guy. Like he's going to pick up the offense quickly. He's a talented guy, honestly. Like obviously, a lot of things didn't come together for him in New York. A lot of it was circumstantial. It wouldn't be like the ultimate like crazy surprise if he's one of the next kind of like. Rehab quarterbacks. Yeah, exactly. Like he's got the talent and the mentality. Like he works his butt off. I think again you're hearing that from a lot of the Colts guys already. Is that he's definitely one of those first one in, last guy out type of quarterbacks, and somebody that like knows what he's talking about in meetings. Has been around a different offenses. There's a lot of reasons he can succeed and won't lose the job, which again is what I think he might have to do at this point for Anthony Richardson, who's so far behind, who's going to fall behind. Like he's just going to fall behind at this point because of what he's not able to do. And I'm just circling back. It's frustrating, man. It sucks because it's like if he's gonna fail, I want him to fail on his own merit. Like the injury, the body not holding up stuff. It sucks. It's just not. It's not. It's like one of those. It's not quite on like the Bob Sanders level in Indianapolis where you're like you never got to see the full Hall of Fame trajectory career that he could have had.
Right.
But it's on like that the same spectrum of like, man, I just show me what it would have been like if your body would have just held up. And so
yes,
yeah, like I said, it sucks.
And to that point. And I'm backing up again a little bit here to bring the full context, hopefully, to this conversation. When we met with Carly and Casey and Kaylin, they were also asked, hey, what does this season mean for Chris Ballard, Shane Steichen? Yeah. And Carly Gordon was very forceful and kind of laying it out like what we've been doing as of late ain't going to cut it. And so I think Anthony's the murkiness around the shoulder, the questions about is he the face of the franchise, is he not, adds to the tension of this season. And I know you put in the headline and people got a kick out of this in the comments. There's no gap year. They're like, what do you mean gap year? Gap year implies that they were actually good. And I'm like, no, it means like they're not taking a year off to grieve. Like,
there's no evaluation. Let's see how things are going here.
So, but I also understand not to kind of give the writers or the commenters credit.
It's okay. Sometimes they're right.
I understand. Like the team ain't been good. I get it. Yeah. Like sometimes you don't want to hear how we doctor things up on our side, but it is our job to kind of lay things out. And it's like I read the comments like, who cares? We don't care that the Pacers are playing. And I'm like, yes, but like this is kind of significant. Like I do care what the owner is
It
saying,
is.
but
Yeah.
so when I think of Anthony's injury in the context of what Carly Ursay Gordon said, and I'll read it for you here.
Yeah.
Like she was not messing around. She told us, asked about the two main guys. As my dad said before he passed, Chris and Shane know that they have things they need to fix. We talked about not micromanaging people, but also we have a standard here and it hasn't been good enough. I was like, dang. And then she followed up and continued and said, winning is great, but I would even take it a step further in saying we're really committed to being the best, and if we're the best, we will win games. I think Chris and Shane are totally capable of doing that, and we're confident that they can. So she kind of, bookended it by saying, "Hey, we have confidence," but it was not the, oh, Jim Irsay giving praise to Chris Ballard. Oh, he's the MJ of
Right.
GMs. He's one of the best GMs of this 21st century in his very first press conference. This was not that. It was not hyperbolic. It was not like super optimistic or super glowing and rainbows and sunshine. It's been dark here. We finna shine a light on everybody. And if you don't do your job, we're not gonna be committed to just you. We're committed to overall the franchise. So I think that they're all kind of been put on notice as of late. And I could tell, like, sometimes Jim, and you were here for this, Jim Irsay could lead with his heart. Now you can lead with your heart as well, and I appreciate that. But he can lead with his heart and sometimes think with his heart.
Yeah.
When Carly was sitting up there, I was like, "Oh, this woman means business," and not in
Good.
like a bad way, not in like
Yeah.
like she's gonna be just totally unfair. But I think she's gonna be extremely fair and say, "Hey, if this is what you've done as of late, we might
Yeah.
have to reevaluate that."
Jim Irsay has been unfair in the benefit of Chris Ballard. Like you've written it 16 times, I think, just saying like most owners would have fired Chris Ballard by
Right?
now. He doesn't have a 500 record. He hasn't won a division. Like it's the resume speaks for itself. We need to
Yeah.
go over it. Like yeah. So I came away from listening to her and them, I should say, thinking that they're closer to a hard reset than they are just being like, let's give it a year, we'll see what's going on.
That
Like,
was my
because I think a lot of
interpretation
owners
too.
would come up and be like, let like when Chris Ballard came in to replace Ryan Grigson, he did give it a year. He got Chuck Pagano got an extra year of just being like, let me see what's going on here. Like, I'll let me evaluate the organization and then we'll do the hard reset, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't seem like what they're planning on doing. Like, it seems like if they don't show progress, I don't know. Again, I don't know what the standard is going to be. Is it win a playoff game, go to the play? I don't know what it is.
Right.
But if they're not satisfied with the way the organization is running by the end of the season, I would not be surprised. And frankly, I think it's leaning the direction of a hard reset, new quarterback, new coach, new GM, because they're the new owners. They want to put
Yeah.
they're gonna, no matter what, they're going to want to put their stamp on things and bring this thing into a new era. Not to say that they would be dishonoring their dad or doing anything different than their dad. Really, it's
Nah.
not really the point. But it's their team now, and they get to choose who they want to run. And as we've learned throughout this process, they were involved a little bit in picking Shane Steichen interviewing him
Yeah.
and things like that, but they weren't involved as much probably in the Chris Ballard thing. So there's go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, to that point, here's, and this is from talking to those in the building. Carly Ursay Gordon has been around this team even the last few years more than her father ever was, even when
Right.
he was healthy. Now, some of the health challenges are going on this past year, but he was not around as much as she is. And I'm not saying she's like super hands on, like I'm gonna
Right.
like decide all these different things just myself.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, Brian Mason, one of these special teams coordinators, or actually the special teams coordinator for the Colts, he told us she sat in my meetings for the last couple of years. She asks
Yep.
great questions. She takes meticulous notes. Stephon Gilmore gave her a shout out on social media and said, "Hey,
I saw
the
that.
Colts are in
Yeah.
great hands." And we know Stephon Gilmore is likely a Hall of Fame player. He's been with winning programs. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows what success and preparedness looks like. So when
That
he
was
said
fascinating. He owes the Colts nothing. He owes them nothing. Like in terms of, I mean, again, they gave him a year and it was great, but like he doesn't owe them anything. And for him to just say that of his own free will, I thought was very interesting.
yeah, I mean, and it was not great, Jim, because he asked for a trade after a year. He
Yeah.
had he came in for that 4-12-1 season in 2022.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Played well.
Right, he
Yeah.
balled out. But for him to say that after just 1 year, and again, the context of him, I understand the Patriot way. I won a Super Bowl. I was Defensive Player of the Year. Like I know what winning in standard looks like. So I thought, okay. Well, some of people have to say that. There's not a player on the roster right now who's going to say they don't like Carly Ursay Gordon. But for him, he ain't got no skin in the game. And then I've
That's what I
heard
mean.
through the
Yeah.
grapevine from other people with other who have left the organization but have known her, just during their time here, they feel the same way. They're like, oh no, 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 she's legit. And so I'm curious to see how that kind of all unfolds for this
Yeah.
team. Now, as far as the quarterback competition goes, yes, I truly believe this is Daniel Jones in the driver's seat, and I will be
Yep.
the person. Yes, I asked him a very perhaps baiting question yesterday, but I was thinking, hey, I'm not getting nowhere with anything else with this guy. And no
Yeah.
offense to
Yeah. He
Daniel
didn't say
Jones,
much. So yeah.
but I
He
asked
knows.
him flat
He
out. I
takes
was
pride in not saying much. He
Yeah,
knows. Yeah.
I asked him flat out, hey, Anthony Richardson is not getting reps right now. Do you view this as an opportunity to seize a starting job? He's like, oh, I'm here to learn and be a good teammate, learn the offense. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not falling for none of that. And the only thing that's funny about this, and I guess a little like personally irritating as a reporter, I'm like, can you just say you want to start? Like, can you just say that? Like, I'm like, dude, we know, and to me, it's almost like this charade, and perhaps like New York media just like taking his soul, and he's like, I'm never gonna show a morsel of personality
Possible.
again. But part of me is like, you came here because one of two things: this dude cannot throw, Anthony
Yep.
Richardson, and he can't stay healthy. So one of those two reasons is why I'm going to be out here to play, and I'm going to have a chance to redeem myself. And I also think that that time on task, man. There's not saying that the teammates don't support Anthony. They all do. I mean, if you ask anybody about Anthony, they love Anthony. However, there comes a time when certain guys, every guy, is going to be like, I got to produce. I got to feed my family. I want to go to the playoffs. And if this dude isn't available to help us do that, we're going to rally around the other guy. So I think about that too when it comes to relationships and the dynamic and
Yep.
things like that. I'm like, the longer you're out and you're not playing, you're not in the huddle, the more naturally and then just as a professional, you have to gravitate, you have to get more inclined with the other guy. Like
That's a
there
great
is
point.
no more, okay, Daniel likes it this way, Anthony likes it the other way. It's Daniel likes it this way. He's QB1 right now. We're gonna do everything in our power to follow this dude and make sure we're successful. And that holds weight, in my opinion. So
It's
I'm
gonna.
very
You're
interested
right.
to see how things go when we get back for training camp. And if Anthony's available at the start of training camp. They said they would ease him back in. We'll see how that goes. But if he ain't ready
If
to
he's
go by
not,
by
oh my
July
god.
22nd,
Yeah.
then it gets into, and last thing I'll say on the quarterback topic, so to speak. Then it gets into the second part of my piece from today
Yeah.
about the quarterbacks. Do you bring another quarterback in?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there is a trickle down effect there. Just being God honest, Jim, you watched college football last year, and certainly, I'm sure you saw a couple of Notre Dame games at least, and obviously the national championship and all that. Riley Leonard is not a backup right now.
Yeah. You know.
He can't be your backup.
He shouldn't be asked to be, to be honest with you. Like it's
Exactly.
that shouldn't even
Exactly.
be that's not even like an
Exactly.
insult. You know what I mean? That's yeah.
Yep.
He shouldn't be asked to be a backup right now. And if you know you can't count on Anthony, then this team needs to go get another guy, somebody else. Maybe it's Desmond Ritter. I mean, again, the level of guy you're going to get at this point is not going to be very high.
Right. But he did start
But
18 games in his career. He's played
right.
football. He can do a
Yep.
couple of dual threat things. Like,
Yeah. I I don't think it's a bad decision. I think it was wise, and we talked about this on the phone the other day. I think it was wise of the Colts to get him in the building. Again, you need camp arms, you need somebody to absorb some of those throws, play with the third team, all that stuff, scout team stuff. But like, it's not a bad idea to get him in here, learn the offense, learn some of the dudes, learn the ropes, like get all that stuff in there now. That way, if you do need him, it's not just you're not starting from scratch. Like you can get a veteran who has some understanding of what the offense is going to be, some understanding what the personnel is going to be, all of that stuff. So I think the Colts, again, sad as it is, and when you think about it big picture, I think the Colts were wise to do that. I mean, they were wise. Again, they kind of had to bring in another camp arm to throw. I get all that, but like it was smart. It was smart to bring in a veteran like Desmond Ritter, somebody who could pick up hopefully quickly your offense, and if you need him in a pinch, you can maybe fall back on him. And again, it's hope it doesn't come to that. I don't think anybody does. I think we all want to see legitimate competition between a healthy Richardson and Daniel Jones, but man, the closer we get to training camp, the less likely that seems.
oh, absolutely. And then looking at the positives that came out of camp, because I promise you
Yeah.
there were some. Tyler Warren, I mean, I won't spend too much time on him. Dude, he looked great. I mean, he's what they've been missing over the middle. It doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. It seems like every few plays, in 11 on 11 in particular, which is the closest you're going to get to real football, he was making a play, and he was
Yeah.
like the safety blanket. And honestly, Jim, the only thing I think of when I see him catch the ball is like, okay, how many more yards you're going to get after you get it in your hands? That's the question we can't get answered right now because you're not, running through tackles and all of that. But I think
Right.
that he's shown he's worthy, at least early on. You know, obviously the season is a totally different beast, but from what I've seen, he's a dude. And the way people talk about him, he's a dude. And I got a kick out of this, Jim, and this is not breaking news, but it was so freaking funny to me because it's so on brand for someone like Tyler Warren, who is the most just, he looks like the tight end. He looks like the guy from,
He does look
he
like a tight
reminds
end.
me of, is his name Tim Riggins from Friday Night Lights, like the series?
Yeah.
He reminds
Is
me
it?
of like,
Yeah. Is it
Riggins was the
Tim? Yeah.
last name.
Rig. I was gonna say that's what I'm trying to remember if it was Tim or not.
He
Yeah. Go
reminds me
ahead.
of that guy.
Yeah.
Like the hair, the tight end. Like I'm driving a, I don't know if he drives a pickup truck. I imagine he does just because he looks like that type. Um,
It is Tim.
and
You're right. You nailed it.
yeah, Tim Riggins is what he is. So I'm leaving the facility the other day after one of the veteran minicamp days, or maybe one of the OTA days. I can't remember exactly, but who's going over to like the little man-made ponds they have at the Colts facility by
He
himself?
fishing?
He's fishing
Okay.
by himself. I'm thinking practice
Yeah.
is over. Guys are zipping up out of here. This guy's got like a little, little bucket he's working with, throws his line in the water, and he's just chilling. I was like,
Are him,
he's happy.
are him and Michael Pittman best friends already?
Man, they're gonna probably get there very soon. I saw Pittman hanging out with Riley Leonard. They were fishing the other day as well. So yeah, I think that guy, seriously, Jim, is a dude. But one guy I want to get your thoughts on, not from like,
Yeah.
obviously I was out at camp,
Yeah, so I
but
get to see him, but yeah.
when you
I
hear
know who you're
me,
bringing up.
yeah, when you hear me tweeting out AD Mitchell, and I'm saying he's making plays,
Yeah.
and you did watch every game last year.
Of course.
What are your thoughts when again we're getting the same sort of narrative that we got last year of this dude gets open, he is a hell of a player, and then he brings some of this on himself because I promise you, Jim, after every single play he makes, he's a little over the top with it. It is, he caught one pass in the end zone. I believe it was 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. He like catches it. And then he puts both hands over his chest and he's flexing, looking at the dude. And then he caught one over the middle and like it was a very good throw from Daniel Jones and a very good catch from AD Mitchell. He catches it, throws the ball straight in the air. Another one he caught in the end zone on a drill. He starts dapping up some guy on the sideline like 4 times and saluting and this and that. And I'm just like, do you ever just go back to the huddle? And so you can do all this stuff
Yeah.
when you're the man. But his season, his rookie season was not a good one. So what do you make of all of that?
I remain skeptical, frankly. Like he was very impressive in camp last year, and again,
He was.
he's gonna grow. He's gonna develop. Like that's all gonna happen. He's a year older. He's a professional now. All that stuff, despite some of the things that you're saying about the way he celebrates.
Which is that can be professional in its own way. I mean, look, if that's what you
Yeah.
need to be yourself.
I was gonna
That's
say,
fine.
like, if you're giving yourself confidence, and sure, like whatever, do whatever you gotta
Man,
do.
you gotta
I don't
come
care.
up on Sundays, man.
Here's my problem. Maybe this is like a fantasy brain thing. Like I don't know. I don't. What role is he going to play? Like I don't understand.
I was thinking that too.
Like what are we asking? Like you want to go 4 receivers deep plus Tyler Warren? Like what? How many catches could he possibly have? Alec Pierce proved himself over and over and over again last year. Like maybe they don't re-sign him and they let him go and they hope AD Mitchell takes his spot. Maybe that's what happens. But like
Right.
until that point, you can't take AD Mitchell off. I'm sorry, you can't take Alec Pierce off the field after what he
No.
did last year for you. You're not taking Josh Downs off the field after what he does in the slot, and you're certainly not taking Michael Pittman off the field. So, and then you have Tyler Warren. So, like, what are we talking about? Maybe there's an injury and he ends up having to play one of those spots and moving around, things
Right.
like that. But like, I don't know. On its own merit, it's great. You want to see AD Mitchell develop and improve, and maybe you have something there. The big picture, I'm struggling to see like. He had a chance
Yeah.
to beat Alec Pierce last year and lost. He just lost. And Alec Pierce proved himself to be the better player again last year. And AD Mitchell gets a chance to grow. So maybe he grows so much that he surpasses Alec Pierce. I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, my early theory, this is very early, this isn't reporting, but I do kind of think, Jim, they're thinking, hey, we might not pay Alec Pierce because we just paid Pittman and Josh Downs is going to be up here pretty soon. So maybe we got to get cheaper on the deep threat part of it. And we want AD to kind of graduate into that role. But to your point, Alec, he balled out last year. He's a big part of this offense. And he had a pretty good, veteran minicamp. It's not like when I put out my like standouts or whatever, I went against like the typical, like, yes, Pittman looked great in veteran minicamp. He's their top receiver. I mean, what else do you want me to say?
Yeah.
But I think AD Mitchell again, it's all about putting it together. We had a chance to talk to him about that, and he didn't really get into specifics as to why he wasn't finishing plays as much last year. But he did kind of mention at one point, and my ears perked up. He was like, "Hey, I gotta get on the same page as the quarterback," which we saw a few times. He was like, "It's like
Ugh.
he was never on the same page." Same page as the quarterback, and also he just repeated the question back to us, saying, "I got to finish." He was like, "No one's gonna feel sorry for me. No one's gonna make excuses for me." He's like, "I got to go out there and produce. That's what I was paid to do." And he said he believes confident he's gonna do. He said, "I'm never gonna lose confidence in myself." And I mean, Reggie's still a believer. So if you believe in
Yeah.
Reggie, you trust his work. I mean, and he had a catch on the sideline. Actually, it was just out of bounds. He didn't get both feet in. But Jim, his body control is
Yeah. Yeah.
incredible. I mean, he can twist, dive, left hand, right hand, but can you finish on Sundays? And that is the biggest question for him for sure.
The football instincts were the thing that got like he just didn't seem to know where to be. And even though some of the times he got the ball in his hands, I think we all remember that time where he could have just run to the end
It
zone,
was
but
a
he tried
Jets
to like
game.
zig. Yeah, he tried to like zigzag. You're like, what are you doing? Just like
You're
I don't know
running
if he
four
gets like
four, run.
I call it with quarterbacks sometimes when they like when there's pressure, sometimes they get fever brain, and I think it's like when they're like, "Oh God, what do I do?" and they throw the ball. So it's Carson Wentz is like the
Yep.
definition of fever brain.
Hmm.
I think AD Mitchell sometimes, at least his rookie year, had a little fever brain. Like, I got the ball, what do I do? Like, I don't know where to go, and you just start like you
Yep.
can't think or process. So like, and most of the time, these high level athletes. They've been doing this for so long that they can slow the game down for themselves. But every once in a
Hmm.
while, you get these guys to get to the NFL, and they struggle. Quarterbacks mostly, you see it. It's obvious to see. But
Yep.
occasionally you get it with some skill guys, the running backs who aren't patient behind the line of scrimmage, or receivers who don't know what to do with the ball in their hands afterward or where to be. Like you can see it. And AD Mitchell last year, you could see he had a little bit of fever brain of. And again, it's not fair for me to not say he can't grow past some of that stuff. He can
Right.
absolutely do that. And so for the Colts and for Colts fans, you absolutely hope he is. And in terms of just like pure roster building, like Madden type of stuff, like
Hmm.
you hope he develops into the long term. I mean, sorry, the deep ball guy. You don't have to pay Alec Pierce. You can dedicate that money somewhere else because you
Hmm.
can count on AD Mitchell. But I just want to. I'm in the like. Let me see it. Let me see it first. And
Yeah.
I don't know when we are because they have a pretty deep receiving core plus another, a top pick tight end. It's gonna be interesting to see how they get the ball. All these guys.
Exactly. And the last guy I want to give some flowers to throughout the spring ball, whether it was rookie minicamp, OTAs, veteran minicamp, Justin Wally, cornerback out of Minnesota. He looks pretty good. He did get burned by Pittman on a route, but that's because he didn't get his head around. So I was like, that's like,
Gonna happen.
hey,
Yeah.
welcome to the league, Rook. But other than that, he's been around the ball. Shane Steichen was singing his praises about just how instinctual he's been, whether it's inside or outside cornerback. Lou Anarumo seems to like really like this guy. Lou told us a funny story the other day. He was like, "Hey, he's young though. He's still learning." He said he had a teachable moment in front of the entire team, and he, kind of had this wry smile on his face. And I was like, "Lou, what are you talking about? You want to fill us in on what teaching moment? What?" He was like, "Nah, it's family business." But it seems like something that might have been like goofy or silly or whatever the case may be, and he got a kick out of kind of humbling the rookie. But other than that, it wasn't one of those things where like he got in trouble or something like that. But they love this guy. And we had a chance to catch with Justin Wally. He was saying it's a lot thrown at him. He was like, "This is the most complex football I've ever kind of been around. It's just a lot of different things to kind of, put
Yeah.
all in my brain." But he was saying that the instincts of just playing the ball, he was like, that's always going to be there. And they love that so far because he's made plays on the ball, whether it's, a pick or a deflection, things like that. And if he can show those capabilities, that just adds more competition, which Carly Ursay Gordon doubled down on as well. She was like,
Right.
"We love competition on this roster." He adds to that, and I do think he could challenge for potential starting reps. Especially with Jalen Jones, he missed some of the spring. Training camp will decide a lot of it, obviously, between that group. But I do think they're going to try to find ways to get on the field, even if they do dime package, and they have six defensive backs out there or whatever. They're going to try to make sure that he has an opportunity to go out there and compete. So
Listen, I didn't get to see him play. So this is gonna be my takeaway. I think the quote that you put in your story from Lou Anarumo is
yeah,
that's a better quote than you've ever gotten probably from Shane Steichen. Aside from the one feature that you did when you got him like one on one in the office talking about like
right.
gamesmanship, but that was good stuff. He did have good quotes there. But in terms of like group interview, I think he's got a long way to go. But the first mark of a corner is how you cover. I don't care if you have pads on or not. Either you can or you can't. Like I you're never gonna have to pretend or like you're never gonna have to guess how Lou Anarumo feels about
Nope.
somebody, which I love. Like I'm already a big fan of Lou Anarumo just because of that. Like as a media person, because I'm like, oh, good. We're never gonna have to wonder how he feels or if this guy's gonna play or
Facts.
why he's not playing. He's just gonna tell you what it is, and he might not
Facts.
tell you all the details, but you're gonna know. So anyway, I that was my main takeaway is that he must truly like Wally because I don't think this guy can lie. I don't think it's in his DNA. I don't think it's in Lou Anarumo's DNA to lie.
Oh,
Frankly,
100%. 100%, man. So,
so I love that.
now I feel like we can kind of wrap things up. A couple
Yeah,
housekeeping items. As far as the injury fronts go, those to kind of keep an eye on as far as rehab. Zaire Franklin, left ankle surgery. He's out of the walking boot. We'll see when he's available during training camp. Jalen Carlisle as well, working through the shoulder surgery that he had this offseason. A couple other guys are, bruised up or banged up, but nothing to my knowledge that were significant injuries. One thing that did catch my eye, Daniel Scott not participating in veteran minicamp. I'm feeling
yeah,
bad for him just
feel,
because he's
feel bad
missed
for
his
him
first
too.
two
Yeah,
years due to major injuries. He had a torn Achilles, I believe, last year, ACL before that, missing more time. Just can't get a break, literally, with this guy. And I'm hoping that by the time training camp rolls around, for his sake, his mental psyche, he's out there competing for reps and things like that. But moving on to more positive things, these Pacers.
heck
Oh
yeah,
my goodness, I was in there, Jim, for Game 3. And shout out to NBA media, Gamers Fieldhouse, whoever I have to thank for putting us in 200 level. It was great. I mean, I was a little bit higher than I normally am for games, so they tape that for all the real reporters who do NBA full time, which I totally respect. But just the
yeah,
fact that I was in the building, I don't care if I was on the freaking roof for this. It was awesome. It was so loud in there,
yeah,
loudest place I've ever been. You called it one of the best games you've ever seen,
yep.
and
Just pure basketball.
are they gonna
Like,
do this? Part
yeah,
of me is like, are they gonna do this? It is
I
nuts.
I will admit because again, I will admit I thought I was giving the Pacers credit when I said Thunder in 6 because I was like everyone's saying Thunder in 5. A lot of people are saying Thunder sweep. I'm going to say the Pacers are too resilient. They're going to get 2. I admit now I was disrespectful and I apologize to anybody who's mad about it.
Hey, let me get on that apology as well.
Like I did not think like grit and tenacity could go as far as it's gone. Again,
Man,
and that was almost like a backhanded compliment, not
right.
because it almost sounds like when you say that kind of thing, it's like they're not talented. They're
No,
incredibly
they're
talented.
skilled, they're talented, they're together, but that extra oomph, yes.
Oh, like I haven't seen, and again, I didn't watch it. I'm not saying I'm not like a huge NBA guy. I don't watch every game. But like I didn't watch a ton of Thunder, but the Thunder looked beaten down and a little disheartened at the end of Game 3. It's one game; they'll
Yes.
bounce back. It'll happen. But they
Yeah.
looked like run ragged. Like Chet looked done. Shea at the end kind of looked like man. Like I cannot believe this just happened. And I think that's just what the Pacers do to you. They just keep coming at you over and over and over again. There's a chance by the time this series is over, Andrew Nembhard's my all-time favorite like NBA player. Like honest to God, like he is just relentless. I can't. I love watching that guy play.
Yes. And that relentlessness is there for all of them in their own
Yeah.
unique ways. And
Yep.
a guy like Aaron Nesmith, he's made big shots, big moments throughout these games. Struggling kind of in Game 3, hits a huge 3 late to kind of get him over the edge. TJ McConnell
Clutch. Oh my
had the
God.
most TJ McConnell game ever. Game ball TJ McConnell because he came in and upped the ante. They were, Pacers are down early. Obviously, they don't want to do that again tonight in Game 4. But for just an energy spark,
Oh,
TJ McConnell was awesome. He had 3 steals off inbounds passes, and I thought the last one he got,
yeah, the pick six, like
pick
the
six,
actual
lays
like
it
the
up,
TJ Watt, like
95,
yeah, just grab
95.
it.
Yep, he tied the game. Also, Alex, and it was a great play by TJ McConnell. But Alex Caruso, that was the worst inbounds pass I've ever seen in the finals game in my life.
He didn't
Like,
see him.
what
He didn't
are
even
you?
see him.
He didn't see
he
him.
just
But I'm
looked
like,
above him. Yeah.
can you look, brother? This is happening.
It's happened twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, that was so bad. And again, those are the margins that the Pacers seem to always win. I believe in clutch games, they're 9-1 for those listening. Clutch means 5 points last 5 minutes of a game, and it ends in that fashion. Did you win or lose? They're 9-1 in those games. Actually, Game 3 did not count as a clutch game, but for
Right.
those who watched it, it had that same feel. They had to come back. They were down 5, I believe, going to the fourth quarter, and they
Yep.
rallied. They had to make some big shots, get some big stops. Miles hit the big block. I mean, I've talked for what, a minute or two about these teams. I didn't even mention the fact that Benedict Mathurin have
Oh
the
my
most
God.
points off the bench from a guy in the finals since Jason Terry in 2011. And you know who their coaches were? Freaking Rick
Rick,
Carlisle. Like, I'm like,
instant offense, man.
this
I
is like the
couldn't.
most serendipitous run I've ever seen in my life.
I cannot. I can't. Okay, listen. Anytime that I try to like have basketball takes, I should shut up, especially when it's coming to Rick Carlisle. But like when he took Benedict Mathurin off the court, I was like, you cannot take Benedict Mathurin off the court tonight. Like, and again, he needed to come off,
He
and
didn't
it
even
was
play the
time. But
first quarter, Jim. That's the crazy part. He didn't play a
he,
second of the first quarter, which is unusual for Benedict Mathurin.
right,
He comes in, he scores 14 points in 6 minutes. Like, if you're OKC, you got to be thinking, how do we beat this team when they have like it's like whack-a-mole? Like we hit one person and
that's
the next
it.
guy pops up. Like,
That you know what was okay. I'm going to change topics really quickly on this. You know what was cool for the Pacers is that what did the Thunder shot like what 43% from three? Like
yeah, they shot pretty
Lou
good.
Dort can't miss threes apparently, except for
Yeah.
the one at the end of the game. But like he was just like, oh, money, money. Like anytime, and I was like, the Pacers still won that game. Like they. I know Shea didn't play his best game, but they got a pretty good swing from the Thunder in that game. Like
Yes.
a really good game from the Thunder out of most of the guys, and they won. They didn't matter. And, like I was watching like every time Lou Dort hit a three, I was like, man, it's not the Pacers' night because like if Dort's gonna hit all these threes, it's not
Right.
gonna end. Yeah,
Especially on the
yeah,
road. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna keep making these. He
yeah.
did, but they just walked him down. And I have to give credit to, again, Tyrese Halliburton. He takes a ton of heat. He's taking more heat this season than he's ever had in his career because of their finals run, his status in the league. Is he a superstar? Is he not? All I know is this: the man can have a dud, and I will preface it by saying this: you probably shouldn't have any more duds in this series if you want to win it.
No,
But he will have a dud, and he will always respond. Like that dude,
always.
for whatever reason, he always figures it out. And I thought that his performance in game 3 was brilliant. 22 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. I was waiting for him to like miss layup on purpose and get the 10th rebound. They're late, probably a little bit too close of a game for that. But I mean, the guy fell just short of his third triple double of his playoff career, and he did it in the most Ty fashion. It wasn't I'm gonna respond to all these critics saying I'm not aggressive by taking 40 shots, taking 30 shots, ball hogging. It was I'm gonna be more aggressive in my way, and that
Yeah,
included getting downhill, shooting floaters, a couple threes, and still
those floaters,
making
man.
steam. That to me was the shot that opened it up, Jim.
It's
That to
magic.
me,
It's
that
magic for
changed
him.
everything for them.
It is
If you're gonna shoot that and make that,
every
that
time.
changes the math.
He didn't miss one. Like, yeah, that's the last game. I mean, I'm sure he'll
Nope.
miss one tonight, but like he didn't miss like, and one of them was from like 18 feet.
Yes.
It was a long one-handed floater. It like goes right in. Like it doesn't miss. And you're right. It's the straw that stirs the drink for him. Sometimes he can do like a step back three that gets him going a little bit.
Yeah.
But that floater, man, you're not wrong. Like,
I'm like, what we call it, giant killers is what my high school
Yeah.
coach called it because it's like you take it all the way, then you might get it blocked, you might have a
Well,
turnover. He has been really good, so I'm very excited for Game 4. I think one thing I'm curious to see for OKC's purposes, do they move SGA off the ball a little bit, at least just to bring it up? Because I think
Taking
the
a break.
reason why he was so tired at the end of the game was,
Yep.
man, I'm getting face guarded by your favorite player, Andrew Nembhard, the entire game, Aaron Nesmith the entire game, and by the time I get across half court, I've already used, part of my energy reserve just to get the ball past half court. And so that's one flaw I didn't probably harp on enough with OKC. Their only shot creator and only true ball handler that they play is SGA. Whereas with the Pacers, if Tyrese is kind of like in a fog, Andrew Nembhard can bring it up. He can run offense. Obviously, Benedict Mathurin can bring it up. He can get downhill. He can score. They don't have a lot of shot creators at the
No.
guard spot. Now, Jalen Williams can handle the ball, but I wouldn't want him bringing the
did.
ball up the entire game. Alex Caruso, I'm like, he's not a true point.
Yeah,
Like,
Jordan
it's
Wallace
tough.
can kind of like handle the ball a little.
Yeah.
It's none of it's ideal though. None of it's ideal. in the way
Exactly, but I'm like,
want to do it.
can you survive by making a tweak? And that's what it is. And in these deep waters, as I call them, near the finals, you're on the deep end. It's the little margins that make you sink or swim. And right now, man, this Pacers, and to be in the city right now, Jim, it is nuts. And, obviously doing the radio gig, if I go anywhere, people are like, hey, I can't wait for the morning. I can't wait to hear the in the morning. They're calling in. They're tagging me. They're telling me
awesome.
I'm wrong picking Thunder in 7. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. And I will say, and we're a few hours out from the game. I picked Thunder to win tonight because I think it's going to be a long series. However, nothing would surprise me about what the Pacers do ever again with this team this
No,
season.
I'm done
Nothing.
doubting. I'm done.
Nothing. Like, I mean, every time I think that they're broken or that they might, get off kilter, they find a freaking way. And I think it's so endearing to the city because I made this point on the radio station today, and to me, Jim, all of their best players are like inherently flawed.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if you look at SGA and say here's this glaring flaw. Like with Tyrese, it's probably
he's MVP.
physicality. Like
Yeah.
Siakam like cannot make free throws for whatever reason. He's like 60% in the playoffs.
I know.
Andrew Nimhard, like there's times where he can not be a good shooter or get in foul
Yeah.
trouble, get too handsy. But they've all got like their own little quirks, but they cover up each other's deficiencies so well
Yeah.
that the sum of their parts is just it's awesome basketball to see, and it's endearing. It makes you it's how you would teach your kids to play basketball.
The guy you wrote about fits it perfectly. The guy
Yes,
you wrote about the
Obi.
other night, Obi
Toppin.
Toppin, man.
Yes.
Sometimes there are games in the playoffs and the regular season. I was like, get this guy off the court. Like he is too wild. He's too crazy. He's doing too much. Like just
Yeah.
like, and then times where you're like, man, that energy is so much. And then he puts that putback dunk and that block, and you're like, man, this guy needs to be on the court. Like, but I again, to your point, I just want to say all the credit in the world to Rick Carlisle, man. He knows he's pushing every
He is
button,
coaching
pulling
his
every
butt
lever.
off, yes.
It's incredible watching what he's doing. Like, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he knows like, okay, I need 18. I mean, I know it's injury, foul trouble stuff, but like you get 18 minutes from Ben Shepherd that are pretty good. Like again, I
Yeah.
know no one's gonna shut down Shea, but like
Right.
you can put him out there to like do something against Shea for a little bit to get those
Yep.
guys a break. Like you get 3 or 4 minutes of Thomas Bryant, a couple of games that somehow work sometimes. Like
Yeah.
he just knows every button to push right now, and it's been really. I haven't had this much fun watching a team in a long time. They are
Yeah.
one of the most fun, like any team, honestly. Like
And then-
football, basketball, baseball, they're just fun to watch.
Having Reggie Miller there for these games and having him in the building for their first home game, literally to the day, this past Wednesday was 25 years to the day of the Pacers hosting their last, home playoff game in the finals. And
right.
to see him standing up, cheering for Tyrese and kind of like coaching and clapping, all these things, and knowing how badly he wanted this moment and him kind of being a part of here for this new moment, it's really freaking cool, man. Like I've never seen anything like that, and just the tension in a game like that. It was so loud. The air felt like it was thick. Like early on, the Pacers were like kind of like not in it. Pascal got him 6 quick points, and it's like once they got a few buckets, that crowd just was like erupted because they were just waiting for something to cheer for, and it was awesome stuff to see. And the way I phrased it in my story about Obi Toppin and the others,
Yeah.
and I'll read it here. I said, and I thought it was one of my better lines. I'm not going to humble brag. In a league so often focused on singular stars, the Pacers believe they are a constellation. The only way for them to be truly appreciated and ultimately crowned is for everyone to shine together.
Yeah.
Like that is their ethos. That is what they build everything around. That is what Rick Carlisle has preached. Every player has preached. And this isn't some cliche Disney High School Musical movie. This is real life. Like these guys legitimately do not care who scores, who's the guy who's on the podium, who's the guy who wins MVP of the conference finals. I know Tyrese might have thought it was him. I did see that, Tyrese. You walked forward on that, trophy presentation thinking it was you. It wasn't you, brother. It was Pascal. It was Spicy P. But still, there was no animosity there or jealousy between this group. They just want to go out there and win. And they certainly have a chance to do that tonight in Game 4. And if they do, they will put a stranglehold in the series going back to OKC. So I don't have much more for you. Jim, got any final thoughts?
No, I guess I can unashamedly say I don't cover this team and I don't cover the NBA. So I'm gonna say it. Go Pacers, man. I'm having fun.
All right, I gotta be the biased dude. I gotta be the unbiased guy. Yeah, we'll
I don't
see
have
what
to
happens
be.
tonight, and I
Yeah,
gotta
I don't
write
have to be at all.
matchups and scenarios.
I'm rooting for it, baby. I want to see it. So.
But what I will say though is I've enjoyed, you all being along for this ride. Whether it's obviously, filling in with the Colts, doing my thing there, helping out with Pacers. We just got news throughout this podcast. Little breaking news to end it, I guess. Caitlin Clark will return from her absence with her left quad injury. She's going to play this Saturday, tomorrow, in her first game, I believe, in 5 games. The team has been 2-3 without her, and she'll make her return against the undefeated New York Liberty. It's like, oh, man, good luck with that. The last team she played, the New York Liberty. The team she comes back to play, the New York Liberty. Have they lost since then? They have not. They are still very good, defending WNBA champions. So the vibes are feeling good in the city right now. Obviously things are going on with the Colts. You want Anthony Schroeder to be better, but on the basketball scene, you get a game 4 finals game. You get Caitlin Clark back in the lineup. It has been awesome for this city. So for all of you all listening, man, thank you for listening, subscribing, being along for the ride, and we'll catch up with you very, very soon.